All right, part two. Um, Welcome back, Global News Sports. With the request for structure for the NCAA athletic sports, the structure that works, the models that works for sports is the NFL. So let's talk about football. Let's break it into two. You got the NBA and the NFL, right? And this is what needs to happen with college football moving forward, right? You use the model that works. And right now we're going to apply the NFL model to the NCAA, right? With the NCAA branding as the NFL, right? Which is a league. So the NCAA is the league of sports, right? And so the NCAA should pass bylaws to form two national conferences. They're not going to be the same names that we know the conferences to be right now. There's going to be bylaws to where the NCAA becomes a league, and there's going to be two national conferences. These conferences they're going to have new names. They're no longer going to be called the SEC, so on and so forth, because that doesn't matter. Because we're all getting caught up in the names and we want to keep the names or the brands, but it's not about that, right? What makes the league up is the actual universities. Now, I can clearly see a North Conference and a South Conference, or you can make it East and West, however that works. And it should consist of at least, I would say, 60 to 70 schools, right? And these schools should be measured based off of a number of things. One of them being competitiveness, another one being TV viewership, another one being branding, how great of a brand, and last but not least, accolades. And all of the good teams should not be in one conference. It should be blended up based off a region, right? Regional. So it should be a regional division, regional divisions. And these two divisions will consist of these teams, or schools, should I say, right? And whatever the names of the divisions, that's another thing, but it should be two. And they should not be the Big Ten, and it shouldn't be the SEC. The rules and regulations should come directly from the NCAA only. No other conferences. No conferences should make up rules. It should come from the NCAA down. The TV negotiations should go directly between the networks and the NCAA, right? The NCAA is posing just like the NFL. The rights to the schools should go to the NCAA, not the conferences. We're cutting out the middleman. And the schools that are in the conferences will get a certain amount of revenue from the networks each year, devied based off of a number of factors, right? You look at the TV market size, so on, the number of viewership, all that to be figured out based off of the networks and the NCAA, and money would be distributed. Same with the playoffs, right? That should run through the NCAA. Okay. The problem that we're having now is that you have all these different conferences. Then you have the NCAA, which is the league. And then you have all these middle people and all this money floating from here to there. And it's not getting down to where it need to be, which was the players. The players was never getting paid. Now that they're going to be getting paid, then we have to get rid of all these different conferences, and it should be only two. and it should be ran through the NCAA. The NCAA should model themselves just like the NFL. There should be phone conversations between the NCAA and the NFL staff, and there should be leadership on how to implement and roll that same plan out. Now, let's get to the actual NIL and the schools and the actual players. This can become simplified. You're hearing a lot about, the coaches are becoming displeased with the way things are because of all the extra work that's involved, or more, should I say, more job roles have been added to the coaches, and they're inexperienced in that level and in that field. They don't know exactly how to deal with this. It's like having someone do something they don't know how to do. So a number of things should happen with the players and the universities. And once again, the money should be devied in, coming in from the actual league, which would be the networks, and then to the schools, and then trickle down, and they should have a budget just like the NFL teams every year, like player salaries, so on and so forth. There shouldn't be a restriction to where this is not a good idea, to where you have to make a minimum each year to play. That don't sound right. Each school should be able to pay their players what they can afford based off of their annual budget, player salary, and then salary caps, so on and so forth. Now, what needs to happen is the actual universities should be able to set up the coaching staff, or should I say the athletic department should be structured like a franchise, a team franchise, right? They would have a general manager in the athletic department. They would have what's the next thing? They would have a GM, accountant, or the person that deals with the funding. I forgot. I'll give it to y'all later when I remember, or leave it in the comment section. A head coach, an assistant coach, a trainer, which they already have, and a scouter that scout talent. And the GM role would be equivalent to, all of the finances that come in directly from the league to the budget. They would get the budget, like the athletic director would become the GM in that sense, and then they would hand down the budget to the assistant GM. There we go, the assistant GM, and then this would trickle on to the coach. The coach would be familiar with what numbers that he would have every year to work with on recruiting. So the scout would scout talent, like the recruiter would become like the scout, would scout talent all over the high schools or whatever, or even wherever they're scouting talent, and they would have a budget. They would know, and yes, there should be contracts, right, to where you sign a player for X amount of years, right, 3 years being the max, and they have to serve that contract. They can't trade. They can't go into the portal until their terms are met. And then there should be buyouts. With all this should be done at the university level within the athletic department. It shouldn't all be on the coach's head. This structure would work for the universities. They should set their athletic department just like a franchise, because that's what it becomes, a franchise. And it should model like a team. Like, for an example, the franchise should model like an NFL team, let's say the Houston Texans or whatever. It should be set up in that manner, and they should model their athletic department like so it can operate like so. And that way it's organized to where everyone would be able to scout the talent they need, sign the players, and pay the players. And the NIL money also would come into the universities, and then it would be distribute, or should I say, yes, distribute to the players and divvied up based off of the usage of branding and so on and so forth. But remember, all this would be done in a GM and assistant GM level, far as dealing with the money and then trickling it down from the coaches down to the players, and it should operate like a franchise, period. That's the model for the universities, franchise. The model for the NCAA would be for the like for the league. They should model the league. We don't need all these different conferences getting money, and they don't know how to do all of this stuff. It should be modeled just like so, right? And with that being said, now if you want to throw in a conference head of each national conference, maybe so, but I don't think it's needed. You just model the NFL for the football and likewise for the basketball, and everything will work out, period. And that's just pretty much what it is. Now, let's say if another school who ends up becoming very good and talented and they want to add themselves to this NCAA league, they would be able to do so by going through the NCAA in a sense of, meeting all the criterias that are currently set for all the universities of this 60 to 70 team league, and it would divide it by the region. They have a right to try to get in or not. But for the most part, that would resolve all these issues and problems moving forward. So if you model it just exact and set up your universities like so, everything would go by smoothly. There would be structure. There would be a national championship, which would model the Super Bowl, and then it would work out. You got the playoffs working out. I do believe that 16 should be the number on the playoffs and leave it at that. And then it would be at minimum the best teams in the region would play each other in the playoffs, or division, should I say. So you got the league, which is the NCAA, you got the two national conferences, and then you got the divisions within the conference. There we go. So the divisions within the conference, the top people in the divisions would automatically clinch for a playoff berth, right? On the college level. And then there's a wild card for the teams that are on the bubble, which would be the not at large, but would be on the bubble to come in and play with the next best record, so on and so forth. And you would do it like that, and it would be structured like it needs to be, and everything will work out smooth. But just like there's changes, you can't have all these commissioners. It's too many commissioners, too many conferences. It needs to be synchronized to where everything is being ran under the NCAA. Then you're moving the money to the universities, and or if you got a commissioner of those two national conferences, you might have that. You don't need it, and it's going directly to the universities, their budgets every year on the network, because you have to understand the universities are also making money off of fan revenue and attendance and ticket sales, concession stands, merchandise. So they're making money like that as well. So they'll have their budget on that as well, which is the university's money. But the TV money, the network money, should go through the NCAA to the universities, and then they'll have their budget annually of what they made or what they'll have set to scout players, whatever they want to pay them for their contract. And that would also include the NIL. Like, there's no extra money. Whatever is coming in for the university through the network would automatically include that NIL money. So that's tackled within the contract, and you don't have to do all these extra numbers. Outside of that, the contract would include a percentage of NIL, because you have to understand all the players are going to have NIL. It's going to be in the contract, period. So whatever the contract is, for an example, now let's break it down on the player level. Each player has a contract for however many years, and then their numbers would depend on their role on the team. If they're on the bench, if they're playing, how much they're playing, their accolades, so on and so forth. For an example, there should always be a max contract, meaning you could never make more than, let's say, 900K. The best player on the field should never be able to make more than 900K. I'm just throwing a number out there, right? Period. That way, you know, all the best players in the college football league, their best players are going to make 900K. And then second down, their players might make 500K, whatever. But it should never go over that amount. That way, it keeps everything in perspective. It keeps the recruiting on a level playing field to where people can still recruit top talent. It's about how many top talents you can get. Let's say, for an example, if you have a budget of about $5 million to pay players NIL money and contracts, right? And let's say $2 million of that goes to your general team, and then you have like $3 more million left, and you want to recruit top talent, five-star talent, right? Let's say this school budget has $5 million to recruit talent and pay off their players, and then that school only got $2 million, right? So let's say the school that got $5 million would be able to recruit at least 3 top talent players, five-star talent, because they can pay them the max contract of 900K. So that means they can get up to 3 players and still have about 30,000 left. And now this team has 3 top talents to develop for the next 3 years in the contract. And that school who only have 2 million extra, that can only get 2 top talent teams. And so it would go like that based off of the budget. But it needs to be a cap on the player contract and salary, so things are not getting disadvantaged. It's an even playing field, but at the same time, your budget determines how much you can afford with the talent, not necessarily, oh, I'm going to give this player $3 million and everybody else don't have an opportunity. So I'm just giving you an example on the model, and this will work out with the players. And then we know how to be with the universities like a franchise, and then we know how to be with the whole league overall, with the structure of 2 different conferences, 2 national conferences, and then there's divisions within those conferences, national conferences, that would allow for everything to be organized. The networks would deal directly with NCAA. The numbers would be transparent. Everybody would know what those numbers are. And then it would be divvied up by the national conferences. Real simple. And then you eliminate all these extra commissions. I don't think you need extra commissioners and extra conferences. You only need 2 national and then divisions. Now, there could be a division manager who manage or answer through the NCAA, the different divisions like that. We can keep division managers or whatever to manage the divisions, depending on how many teams are there in that division. You can do something like that, but you don't need all these different heads, because it's leading to this situation right now with the NCAA. So if you use this model, okay, and I'm gonna name this model. This is the Global News Sports model. If you use the Global News Sports model for the structure of the college football and basketball, that would be another video for the basketball. But the basketball is working out pretty decent right now. There's not much really to talk about on that. We can make a video for that, but for right now, we're just talking about college football. If you use this model, you're guaranteed to run this thing through successfully. And if the players get drafted each year, you know that's going to happen. The players cannot be drafted. Let's talk about that. They can be drafted to the NFL to their contract run out, right? Unless the NFL do a buyout directly with the university to where they want to do an early draft, and then they would do a buyout contract or pay a fee to buy out this player, and they'll be able to go ahead and enter the draft early. And that way it would, kind of keep the players there where they need to be. And it's okay if they want to go to the NFL early. It'll just be a small buyout fee for that. But if you use this model and you use this, then everything, I think, will work smoothly with the college football structure. Once again, take notes on this video, share this video, send it to wherever it needs to be. This is my contribution to the structure to help out with what's going on, because there needs to be structure. I'm hearing it. This will work. I guarantee you, because it's already a proven model. So if you apply this, break it down, this will be great for the universities. They'll do well. College football will grow and flourish, not into this, okay, what do we do now, because it's broken. We got a lot of broken pieces in the whole college thing, college structure. Well, the pieces will become fixed, and we can move forward with getting back to enjoying college like football like we used to. It's just some kinks right now going on, administrative kinks that are going on right now with the college sports. But once again, thank y'all for watching. Like this video, share this video, and let's get this video floating around to all the commentators, to all the journalists, and all the people who follow college sport, in the metaverse. If y'all didn't know, every time you go on YouTube or wherever you go, Facebook, whatever, you're in the metaverse. You're not. So let this float around in the algorithm, which is known as the metaverse. And let's get this video voted on. And, this is a model that will work. Once again, thank y'all for watching Global News Sports. Till next time, food for thought. Have a great day.
I'm listening to Global News Sports.
You're now tuning in to Global News Sports.